these coins, shall we? 6 old English pennies from the early 20th century. Let's put them into date order, shall we? So we have 1918, the year the First World War ended, of course. 1917. 1912, the year the Titanic went down. Another 1912. And then we have a 1906. 1906, if you like. And then we have a 1905. I always like to say 0 instead of O, because O is a letter, of course. But everybody on the planet would say 1905. So I probably should as well. So there you are. 1905, 1906, 1912, 1912, 1917, 1918. And because of who the monarchs were at the time, you should be able to, maybe you can tell which the monarchs would be, which for these coins, who the monarchs should be, but I'll tell you. George the Fifth, George the Fifth, George the Fifth, George the Fifth, and George the Fifth. George the Fifth, there you go. Now let me just think, George the Fifth is the great-grandfather of King Charles III. So, yeah, George the Fifth was the father of Edward VIII and George the Sixth. George the Sixth being the father of Elizabeth II. And his father was Edward VII. And there is Edward VII. And Edward VII. And he was the son of Queen Victoria. Now, one thing you notice is that the faces are pointing the opposite way. George V and Edward VII now. Okay. The reason why I never knew this. The reason why Edward VII's face faces right, his portrait, and Henry V faces left. George V faces left, is because since the 1700s, they have alternated between one monarch to the next, who faces left, who faces right. I thought it was queens always faced right and kings always face left, but it's not the case. So Edward VII was facing right. Queen Victoria would have faced left. George V, therefore, faced left. His son, Edward VIII, and this is interesting, he preferred his left profile because apparently he preferred how the parting looked in his hair. And That's why he wanted to be on the coins facing left. Edward VIII, George V's son. But he abdicated, of course, as we know, not long into his reign. And very few coins were made of him facing left. And because he abdicated quite quickly into his reign, the Royal Mint decided to ignore the Edward VIII facing left thing. They decided to make the next king George VI, whose real name was Albert, by the way. George VI, they decided to have him facing left again, as if Edward VIII had been facing right. So therefore that meant he was therefore facing left. George VI, which meant Elizabeth II was facing right. And now we have King Charles III facing left. There you go. These coins. I've got much older coins than this. I've got a coin from the 1200s. Edward I's reign. I also have a Roman coin as well. And some from the 1800s and 1700s, which I may well put into a video. You can just imagine people paying for things. Getting out their coin purse, paying 1 penny for something, or maybe 2 pennies, or even possibly 3 pennies. For something very expensive, maybe even 6 pennies. I wonder how many people have owned these pennies over the many decades. But there you go, just a little look at my pennies. That's all for now, folks. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so, or like the video, or comment on the video, or leave a tip on the thanks button below the video. And I will see